And we are live and we are back with another video. We're going to try and keep this more regular, at least once a week now. Welcome to the Leicester City update show. I forgot what I've called the title already, but essentially, we're just going to be going over and giving you some of the highlights of what's been happening in the world of Leicester City. We've got Ant with us, who's been doing a lot more podcasts than me, so make sure to head over to his channel, link in the description. And how you been, man?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Enjoying the weather. Probably you can't see it really on here, but I'm as red as a lobster with like the worst. I was gonna say tan line. That's a bit generous. Burn line going, but yeah, all good, mate. Enjoying the summer.
I was going to say you've picked the perfect T-shirt as a comparison as well. You could have picked a nice blue, but you picked the lovely salmon pink to kind of show you. But yes, in terms of that, we'll just get straight into it. I mean, we're going to look at transfer rumors. We're going to look at previous matches. We're going to look at some links that have just come out recently, or some transfer news where, and again, just for anybody watching, we're not mentioning Bednarek because my brain can't handle that. And yeah, Bednarek's not being mentioned. That's as much as it getting mentioned because. No. And I don't think there's any links to it anyway. So anyway, we'll go on to the first bit of big news, in my opinion, which is Orkan Kokcu. I know everybody's been butchering his name. He is. I think we've spoke with, from what we understand, and these people. I know Rob Tan said we're monitoring him. From what we've heard, I think there's a lot more than that at the moment, isn't there?
Yeah, and even Rob Tanner's now starting to say there's a bit more than that, and he looks like an exciting player. But it's one of those. I've only watched him for 4 or 5 games because I'm not an avid watcher of Vieira Divisi like every expert on Twitter seems to be. I watched him in the Conference League for a couple of games, and then for Feyenoord versus Ajax. For me, I think he's a good. He would be a really good player, and this is a word that I know people take the mick out of me for saying so much, but particularly with how we do business, it is so true. He is that perfect profile, that young, talented player, but already a decent player, but could come in and really kick on to that next level.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Again, like you, I think I've got this kind of gut reaction of like, this works. And for me, it looked like Kokcu was one of those where I went, yeah, he's the kind of player that I want in the squad. Again, really good. His numbers are impressive. I think he's good at free kicks as well. So great. I mean, I know James broke it down on your channel as well, but again, there's quite a few of them. So we might come back to it later, but I just want to skim through that because I know you've covered this already. But honestly, guys, this is something to look out for because from what we heard, this has got quite a bit of legs. So this is one to look out for. Another one I think we've not mentioned is Samore to Monaco. But it looks like it's only going to be on loan. I don't think it's going to be permanent, but he's just not settled. But from what I understand from speaking to Rob, that they do see him as the future of Leicester City going forward.
It's a strange one because, like, obviously the first season there were moments where he looked brilliant, but for overall, I don't think it was the first season you hope to have. But at the same time, it's the first season, a young lad coming from France he has struggled to settle in, but so many players do struggle in that first season. To send him back to France to gain more experience in a league that he's already done very well in, it seems like a bit of a strange move for me. And I understand there's the side of playing regular football, which is important. But I would have thought if we were going to loan him out and we've got the intention of him being a long-term player for us, you loan him out to the Premier League, to another club in the Premier League, maybe like a Leeds or a Bournemouth or someone like that. To loan him back to France, yeah, he would go and play regular football, but it just seems like a strange move. I could understand it if we were selling him back to France, but to loan him back to France, it just seems a bit of a strange one, if I'm completely honest.
But the issue is with Samore is that he misses France. He was one of the players that he's one of the people that loves France and he loves Paris, and he's been taken out of that for the first time, and he's missing that culture. So Monaco is a close. If we're going to loan him anywhere, it's going to be back to France, in my opinion, because he's not settled in England, so it doesn't make sense to put him in any other English club.
It doesn't, but if he's not going to he hasn't settled, but sending him back to France to then expect him to come back next year and settle, it's like we're going to have the same issues again. So for me, it's either sell him back to France or loan him to England. But it just seems like selling him back, loaning him to France, sort of doesn't really help anyone.
I think it might do. I think I'm a bit more confident. I can see your point, but I think when we have the player, we see the long-term perspective of him. Doesn't mean that he's settled now, but he will be able to settle potentially later. Going to another club, being out of maybe being out of Paris, but in another French club, seeing the different cultures, then he can come back a better player. It is an option. I don't. Sure,
Didn't he move away to Lille? Sorry, though. So he's already been around France. He was because we got him from Lille. Because he moved from PSG to Lille. So it's not always as if he's been in that bubble of Paris.
I get it. And also with Monaco, I don't think they have the money to buy him. I think we play hard.
Monaco have sold a player for 100 million this summer to Tielemans.
Oh, yeah, they have, haven't they?
Yeah, Monaco are not short of money. They've sold a player for 100 million in that position.
There we go. Bringing 100 million. Thank you very much, Samore. You could be 10x on your investment. No, but again, the thing is, joking aside, I wish him all the best. We want to see him succeed, but at the same time, if a player's not settling, we don't want a player that doesn't want to be here. I don't think he doesn't want to be here. I just don't think it's quite worked out, and it's not like he's going to move on to one of our rivals.
No.
So, best of luck to him wherever it's happening as well. Also, in news recently as well, I'm going to fly through these because there's lots of them. Martin Glover has been, now they've announced, Southampton have announced the new head of recruitment. So Martin Glover is going to finish his probation period and then he's on his way. So that's kind of news. Again, we covered it with Rob Tanner as well. So make sure you check that on our channel. But yeah, we'll have to see as well. I think it's JP's put a point in. He is a baller. Keeping him, again, the thing is, it's about having the long-term project of him as well. And considering in 2023, we've got probably Hamza leaving, we've got Mendy leaving, we've got Ndidi with only 1 year on his contract. Samori is the longest player in that position. And the club would have factored this kind of thing in. From what I understand as well, the club do so much research. It's unbelievable. So they would have factored something like this in. I think they would just take the time. But yeah, anyway, coming back to Martin Glover, potentially, yeah, he's coming in the summer. So it should be a good one, in my opinion. A good transfer. And then let's get on to a bit of news that you were looking at as well. Alan, as you have mentioned on your channel, and Alan Nixon, Vestergaard, 12 million. Is anybody stupid enough to pay that money? We were.
Well, we weren't stupid enough to pay that money. We paid 17 mil, so we paid even more. But it's like there's so many players that we've got in this situation. Like we're not putting a high transfer fee on him, but he won't want to go. He's on 75 grand a week. Like who's going to pay him that? We've got so many players like Hamza, who's on huge wages as well. Like some pretty bang average footballers on very decent wages. It's like we're going to be stuck with a lot of these players, and this is why it's so hard for us to ship a lot of them on.
It is, and the thing is, we've realised that now, and we've took the gamble. It's not worked. Players like a lot of these contracts, I think, are expiring in 2023. A lot of the main players. A lot of players. So you got your Schmeichel, you've got your Vardys, you've also got Daniel Amate, Charles Soyuncu, Josie Perez, Hamza Chowdhury. There's quite a few selections from the top and the bottom. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this summer if any of them get a new contract extension, because we know that obviously that Dewsbury Hall's got one, and which direction the club wants to go in. Because obviously they want to believe in the future, but with somebody like Vardy and Schmeichel, I think they are two big players.
They're two big players, but I know I took pelters on Twitter for this, but I know there's talk. Say that again.
What a shock!
Oh, but yeah, no. There's talk about like the contract extensions for Vardy and Schmeichel, and for me, I said it's not a bad thing to give either contract extensions, but we should see where they're at the end of this season, because at the age that they're at, they could decline very quickly. Vardy could become like his legs could go. It's a horrible thing to say. His legs could go at any minute. And like, I want Vardy to keep going until he's 40. But the reality is we don't know how long he's got left at the top level. To then offer him a 2-year contract, which was being talked about, for me, I'd be looking at a 1-year extension at a time and seeing where he is at the end of the season, not at the start of the season.
Yeah, definitely agree as well, because I think there's a part of me that goes, because of that reason, again, it could go at any time, but he's kind of, you don't know. And we're seeing more and more now. Vardy's picking up more and more injuries every season. And it's the similar kind of, is it hip, I think, in its groin, or I think there are two of
It's
them, isn't
hip,
it?
groin, and there always seems to be the same couple of injuries. The thing is, I
Mm,
wouldn't say he's actually picking up that many more, but when he's picking them up, he's taking that much longer to come back, and he's
mm.
like his body's not recovering quite how it was. So it's I just think it's about managing him now, and I think for sure he's going to be a useful player this season, probably next season. But to offer him a 2-year deal when we don't know how long he's got left, it seems a deal built on sentimentality more than on actually being ruthless, which we need to be with these contracts.
I think we've been ruthless already, letting him go into his last year of his deal, to be honest, because if he's that much of a legend, people would have given him 3 years already. Like you look at like the Bruno Fernandes situation where he's putting an extra massive contract for no reason.
Yeah,
Where
but if
in this, Jamie Vardy's got in a different position. And also I think that top cap as well, where I think there's a cap in where he has to be the highest player. Him or Schmeichel have to be like the highest earning players in the club. That's going to play into our hands, obviously, because that'll limit the cap of wages as well.
yeah, thing is, like, if you look at what United have done, we should do the complete opposite because they are in an absolute state. But
Yeah.
it's like, um, it's when you see these players that go on beyond sort of their best, and I want us to remember Vardy as that player who's absolutely brilliant, and he still is at the moment. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about now. Now he is absolutely brilliant, still one of the best strikers in the league. But uh, it's like the longer on, it's still like the longer he goes on. If like 3 years down the line, he could just be another player that we're like, oh, how long is there left on this contract? Because we're really starting to struggle with money. And
Mm.
it's one of these, like, it sounds horrible. You almost have to take a step back and not look at him as Jamie Vardy, club legend and everything he's done. You have to look at him just as purely another player and where he's at in terms of his fitness, in terms of what he can still offer to the club.
Yeah, no, definitely agree there. And one of the things with Jamie Vardy as well is he doesn't play by other people's rules at the same time to kind of on the other spin, because we know that he doesn't. Otherwise, you look at kind of the way that Ronaldo's getting flack and things like that as well, where he's not running and not pressing and stuff. Jamie Vardy presses more. His link up play is better. I think his with at the moment, we don't have that player in that front line that's really experienced. I think he kind of fits that position
Mm.
quite well. It's not enough to give him the contract, but I think we're both in the position. Give him a year at a time, and let's just see how it goes. Because, again, as Keith said, he's still our best striker at the club, totally. But I think do not be surprised at how good Patson Daka will be this year. He got 11 goals, and I remember reading. How did you find this year? He goes, yeah, it was okay. I'm
Mm.
not happy. He's really, really not happy. So, Joe, you were saying,
Yeah, I think too many people have written off Daka already after one
yeah,
season. He was never going to be a one season player that comes in and like instantly becomes like this world beater. He was always a long term project, which for me, Daka's probably, I'd say, uh, he's the long term idea there. I think Vardy's still obviously that established head that Daka still can learn a lot more from, and Daka's still got a lot to eat. Like Daka's still got a lot to learn. Don't get me wrong, and like he needs to run the channels a lot more. He needs to make those clever runs in behind that Vardy makes. Where he drags a couple of defenders with him. But that's starting to come more and more. I think.
mhm.
I think with Daka, if he can start the season well, I think that will be absolutely huge for him. What we can't
Yeah,
have really is another slow start to the season for him. He needs to start quickly.
not just him, the whole squad, and there isn't
Mm.
really an and the season's starting about the same time, but obviously we've got the break because of the World Cup as well. The thing is, coming into this, there isn't an excuse for Rodgers anymore. He's made excuses in the past. He said, "Oh, it's been this. We've not had time to work on set pieces. We've played too many. We've had injuries, this, that, and the other." And some of them are valid. But with one game a week, with the quality of squad we have with Daka and Jamie Vardy, with playing one game a week, that will help with injuries. That will help with that. Help with a lot of things. I'm just coming down to Rodgers and go, no more excuses. You've got to deliver now, because this is your opportunity. Because he's never been at a club for 4 years, I don't think. Speaking to
Mm.
a Swansea fan recently, and they absolutely love him, but obviously where they were and getting into the Championship, and they have a different relationship to what we've seen with him. But we're in unknown territory with Brendan this season.
We are, and I think that's slightly terrifying, if I'm completely honest. It could go brilliantly, or it could go absolutely horrendously. What doesn't fill me with confidence, though, is the fact that there was clear surgeries needed on this squad in terms of 3 key positions, in terms of a right wing, a centre back, and a midfielder. And I know we've still got time left, but you would have hoped that they would have been addressed. At least one of them would be addressed by now.
Yeah, you would have thought so. However, we will have to see what happens, because we can say what you want. Performances themselves will talk. And obviously, we've had the first game against Notts County, not the best. But again, it's a pre-season, and you look at the players that they were playing. And the fact is, you've got like Iheanacho and the under-23s in the second half. Not under 18, sorry, not even the under-23s. It was some under-23s, some trialists that we've not heard of before, and some under-18s, because it was, and Iheanacho leading the line. So I'm not too disappointed. However, I'm not going to. I've seen the meltdown on Twitter about set pieces, because we're bound to talk about it, because 2 goals from set pieces. It's not too much to look into, because I think there was a foul on Iverson, I think, as you mentioned on your show. I agree, just watching the highlights. But also, there was things there that I'm like, I'm okay for this match, but if this continues, I'm going to have a lot more to say. But it's that reminder again, set piece are an issue. Set piece are an issue. First game of the season.
Yeah, it's one of those, as you say, it's pre-season against Notts County, like with basically the under-23s with a few first teamers thrown in there. The concern is, and when I'll be starting to worry about it, if it's still an issue, is when we play Sevilla and when we play those kind of games. Because by Sevilla, we should be basically at the level ready to start the season. Because Brentford as well, by the way, are one of the best teams in the league in terms of putting balls into the boxes, in terms of being set pieces into the box. For me, I know people will still say that's pre-season for us. Last year, a lot of the bad habits that were in the season last year were evident at pre-season, and they got brushed aside because it's pre-season. They need to be addressed before the start of the season. But as we say, the Notts County game, too early to really worry about it, I would say. But
yeah,
we need to see sort of improvements before the start of the season, not halfway through the season.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And it starts now with Evian at the moment, and the players that are going with, because there's a 30-man squad that's gone to Evian. And they go every year. At the moment, at the time of recording, we've not seen the bicycles yet. So normally we see that on social media. So you see people like Hamza Chowdhury and Daniel Amati on bikes. It's just funny.
I think we have seen ones with Dan Amati on a bike. There's been pictures with Dan Amati on them.
Oh, okay. I've not managed to see that one, but I don't know. It's just funny seeing some of these players on these little tiny, little skinny, little bikes. It's really funny. So that's how I know. Okay, preseason is properly here, and they're in Evian. So a couple of things to mention as well, in terms of that. There's few players that have gone. Callum Wright has gone again. Academy prospect, but he's 23, 24 now. So he's getting on the older side of that as well. We've got Will Alves, who, again, I think a lot of Leicester fans are super excited for him and his development. Really excited to see him. Hopefully he'll come to, we can see him in preseason a lot more as well. Sammy Braybrook, and I don't know, I forgot which one it was. It's either Lewis Brunt or Ben Nelson. I can't remember which one it was.
Ben Nelson. I've seen the pictures. Also, you said Callum Wright's 24. He's just turned 22.
Oh, sorry, I've got that one wrong.
So,
I was thinking, I'm thinking in terms of the academy, I'm thinking of players that would qualify for the under 21 rule, if you see what I mean. So I was thinking he was older than that.
He's still the older age for an older aged youngster, if that makes sense. Sort of like contradicting myself, but I think you guys know what I mean.
That's why I think in my head I made it up a little bit more, because I'm with you, because I was thinking, okay, he can be in the same way that one of the reasons why we can't put some of the players in while we've got a bigger squad is because Fofana is now 21. I think Luke Thomas is 21 as well. So they are 2 more members of the squad. where we have to include them. So we have to try and get these players out the door, because now, again, the squad's got essentially bigger by 2. Kubovic has left, but we know that Brendan Rodgers plays with 3 keepers. So we'll know there's going to be another third keeper going to be in there as well. So we do know that this squad does need shrinking. However, it's good to see that they've included Braybrook, Ben Nelson, Alves specifically, because I think we've seen some young players thrive, but I think them three particular, Alves, Braybrook, and Nelson, are players for the future, but genuinely we could do some real good business with them, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to seeing them.
It's like, and I know people mock it, and I know it's like quite funny and easy to poke fun at them, but Arsenal, like, you look at some of the youth players that they've produced over the last few years of giving, and like, you can look at us actually as an example as well. But Arsenal with like Saka and Mill Smith Rowe. Okay, I'm sort of out of names now, but those two. But like promoting these youth players and giving trust to these youth players, and we've seen that at Leicester with Dewsbury Hall, with Barnes. There's a couple of others as well. So, like, if we don't have the funds and don't have the capability to promote, to bring in players, then I'd much rather see us give some of these youngsters a chance than sign another Southampton reject to go from the Chuckle brothers at Southampton. So I don't know what a comedy trio is, but I can't think of
the opposite of a Three Musketeers, whatever the complete opposite of that is.
Exactly.
But yeah, again, apparently, Yannick Vestergaard's for 12 million. So thank you for anybody that can pay that. We will go and drive him down himself. I will hire a lorry for his 6'7" bum, and we will go and deliver it. That again, Ryan Bertrand. Again,
we're stuck with him.
We're stuck with him. At least his contract, again, he's another one that expires in 2023. So that's good to hear as well. Another one as well that's just, I don't know if you must have seen this, and it's come out just recently. Fabrizio Romano has tweeted out about Colwill looking likely to leave. And I've just put, Leicester, please go get this done. This would be a great signing, fits all the criteria, passes that kind of initial, he meets that test. I'd love Colwill in the squad, but obviously people have to go out before we can get him in. But I think Leicester would be a great project for. I've got a feeling, again, I've heard that there's good things about him. He's speaks with Leicester as well. He would be a great signing. And I think he would want to come here as well.
I agree. I think he would want to come here, and I think he'll be a great signing. But it's like if we keep waiting and waiting, we're not the only club in for him. And if we don't go in for him quickly, there's no assurance that he's just going to keep waiting for us. He could go down Brighton, he could go Palace, he could go. He's got offers on the table. So this is why, like, everyone's saying, "Oh, well, we've got time," and it's like these players aren't going to wait for us. We're not like a Liverpool or a United where players will wait all transfer window to go to you. We're a club that needs to act quickly if you want to get these top targets. And that's why, it looks like we're going to miss out on Sangare as well, or the possibility of signing him, because we've dragged our heels. And I understand the fact that, we need to move players on. But what are we now? 13th of July?
3 weeks away?
Yeah, 3 weeks away from the start of the window. We haven't sold one player.
We've let one go on a free. We will have to see. JP's put, he's from Southampton, interested. He's from Southampton. I mean, it's an option, but again, he might want to go there when he's older, because Southampton aren't the team that they once were, challenging for them top positions. We have the pull, we have the ground, we have the squad, we have a great fan base. A great base that he would go and train at. There is a pull for Leicester City over Southampton. So he would go, and what the Southampton project is the Southampton project is a different project to Leicester City. It's the reason why we've took their scout, because he sees it as an upgrade, and he's got more money to play with, and C, there's more room for growth in there as well.
There is, but at the same time, like, playing devil's advocate, if he comes into Leicester, and I do think we are the more attractive proposition, but I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But Is he guaranteed to be a starter at Leicester to start with? Maybe not. If we play a back four with Fofana and Evans, does he break into that straight away? Probably not. But at the same time, there's no way Evans stays fit for a whole season, so he will get opportunities.
Yeah. And also he's getting older now, Evans. We need somebody to kind of work in that position and swap over. And having Fofana, he's already got them leadership qualities that I'm really, really happy about. So the thing is, we just need to. Can we just do a swap deal and give them back the two players that we took from them? If you have them two, then we'll take Colwell, and that somehow in the universe will equal itself out after the 9-0. No,
I'm not sure. I'm not buying this one.
I'm pushing it. I don't know what agenda I'm pushing. I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm pushing it either way. But yeah, thank you guys again. Thank you guys for watching. If you could like the video, it'd be really appreciated. Subscribe because we're 9 away from 2K now. So we really appreciate you. Again, we've got some great content coming on Ant's channel and on the channel as well. So you can go subscribe to him. But make sure to hit the like and subscribe. I'm not very good at plugging stuff. Another thing as well, recently, I don't know if you saw the Tielemans thing of recent. So an update for Tielemans. Rodgers, so he's going with the squad at the moment. He's in Evian training. However, from what we understand, he's agreed personal terms with Arsenal. Now, so it's just a matter of time where Arsenal have to deal with LCFC, get this done. And Arsenal are just lowballing it, going, we can give you 12.5 million, doing the typical Arsenal when we just paid 45 for Vieira. Yeah, I don't know why they're lowballing it.
It's one of those, and that like this has been an ongoing thing for about 3 months now. And you know this thing that Ethan said about Tielemans putting his house up for sale?
I was gonna. Yeah.
Let's talk about this quickly. We've got Sam Martin has said it as well. It's been up for sale for about. I'm going to quote Sam Martin, who's very reliable with Leicester, but it's been up for sale for quite a while, and apparently he's been renting it for a while. He's been renting it anyway for a while. Hold on, give me just a second, mate.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Hold on, where are we?
But thank you for the fun fact, Ethan. Did not know that. And if you calm down a little bit, I saw your comments at the beginning where you having a bit of a flop. It's okay, mate. We are here to help. But yeah, again, we are in a bit of a sticky situation. We've not signed anybody, I know, but it's not as easy as it first looks. Again, we're the only player now in the Premier League that hasn't signed a player, with Raheem Sterling officially signing for Chelsea. Well, we got to do what we got to do. And one thing as well. So again, are you going to say something about Tielemans?
Yeah, can I share my screen for you, mate?
Yeah, go for it. You should be able to.
As I always say on my channel, I struggle when this is. There we go. So this is Sam Martin.
Oh, that guy. Okay, I didn't know his name. Do you want to zoom in a little bit?
I can do.
But you have got Josh Wilson, who I'm not going to lie, mate, I don't rate.
No. But it's Sam Martin that I rate, which is why we've got it up.
Yeah.
So no truth in Youri Tielemans putting his house on sale. He's never bought the house. He rents it. He moved out a while ago, if we're being really pedantic. So
he's moved back in Corn. Well, the thing is, there's houses and stuff around that area as well. It's not really that big a deal. Yeah, Sam Martin's he's a reliable source from what I know as well, but he normally gets the lineups right as well. So I think he's got a stuff there.
I want to try and find the original tweet that he said. Hold on, I'll stop sharing it quickly and then I'll share it again.
If I just take it off the screen, if you try and find it in the meantime, that's fine. But yes, in terms of Tielemans, from what we understand, the problem is they just got to make sure that Youri is sorted, in their opinion. But Arsenal don't see him as priority for some stupid reason. But the thing is, the more they drag their heels, the more that Man United will come in for him. Now, Man United are the bigger attraction, as they have found, as what's it called? Arsenal found out with the Martinez, right? The centre back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I keep forgetting, because they're all called. There's so many players called Martinez and like Fernandez and stuff. So I was like, okay, just make sure I was the right one.
he's the Ajax centre back we're on about that
Yeah.
they're going to. Yeah, because apparently they're looking to sign him as a left back, which is really strange as backup
Did
for
they just sign a
Tierney.
left back?
Yeah, but to be fair, he's not very good, is he?
I have no idea. I've never heard of him in my life.
But it's just,
But
I don't know.
yeah,
This is just dragging on, and I'm like, it's probably coming across. I'm just bored of it.
yeah.
I really am.
I said to Egal, hurry up. It's not his fault, but it's just, I'm just bored of talking about Tielemans. Stay or go. So, come in, sign a new contract, or feel free to leave. The thing is, we trust. If you don't want to be here, that's fine. And I know it's the agent pulling loads of strings at the same time and actually pulling. But officially, Arsenal to this day have not even submitted a bid, which shows you. And it's just rubbish. I think in terms of that, and one thing I want to kind of get back on that I should apologize for, I got carried away with the Benjamin Bourigeau the transfer. So I want to, again, I'm not going to take the video down because I think I put like 8 hours, 9 hours into that video, and it was a long time. But in terms of research and stuff like that as well. However, it's not happening. That one was, the thing is, it was tweeted out by Owen. And normally Owen is really good with this. The BBC, Owen, as you don't know, but if you don't know who that is, Owen Palmer-Atkin, Leicester, BBC Radio Leicester, lovely guy, great researcher, great presenter for BBC Football Forum. I don't know why that kind of, for some reason, because we submitted an offer, apparently, I just went crazy with it because I've been so dying for Leicester transfer information that I didn't see anything.
No.
But yeah. We shall leave that one as it is because I think, so again, I'm going to apologize for that one, but that's probably not coming true as well. But yeah, I think the other one that again you've mentioned as well. Alan Nixon mentioned that Iheanacho could be available for 25 million if Leicester City can't sell Tielemans. The next asset they've got is Iheanacho, and I feel bad for him, man, because he's such. I've never known such a strange player, and I mean this in the best and the worst. Where I've never seen a player lose the ball so many times, get the ball, put in top net, and having both of them at this, like having that juxtaposition, that Jekyll and Hyde. It's such a weird position that I think even since he joined, I don't remember anybody coming in for him.
No, there was some vague links a while ago to Palace, I believe, but nothing concrete. And it's a strange one because he came here, obviously, after being a bench warmer at Man City for Aguero, who, for me, top 3 strikers in Premier League history. It's always going to be, particularly as a youngster, to break him there, neon impossible. At Leicester, I think he thought he was going to break through a lot more than he has done. Hasn't worked out in that way. I like Iheanacho, but I think for the sake of his own career, he needs to go.
Yeah. And we want the best for him. And speaking to Jan from It's Jan City, so a massive Man City fan, she was mentioning that she loved him and for the exact same reason that she didn't want to let him go, but he's a great player and a great asset. I think his role in Leicester City is really strange because obviously he's not an out-and-out 9. We've tried that. It's not worked. He's not a 10, but if he is a 10, why would you not play James Maddison through the middle over him? And if we were to play a 4-3-3, play him as a Firmino role, but then A, that changed James Maddison out of the equation, and B, we need somebody on that right-hand side that's going to do the overlapping runs. We don't have that at the moment. So,
he's like,
you know what? Whatever happens to him, he's going to go down as a fan favourite, I think. I think the fans really enjoy Nacho because you genuinely, I think the fans always enjoy a player that you have no idea what's going to happen with him.
No, and I think as well, the fans appreciate that how rubbish he was to start with and how hard he's worked to turn it around. Like, fans really appreciate that and really take to players that really do put the work in, which is why I think there's so much goodwill to him at Leicester.
It's just that nobody else has come in for him, which is a shame because he is a good player. I just don't think potentially England's the right league for him.
I could see him going somewhere like Bundesliga, somewhere like Italy, and absolutely smashing it.
Me too. If Osimhen leaves Napoli, he would absolutely kill it.
Yeah, like either of the Milan clubs. I think Napoli might be a bit of a harder one because they've got Osimhen, so it'll be the same thing as here.
But
Like,
if Osimhen leaves and then he
yeah,
comes in his place.
But Bundesliga, there's plenty of clubs in the Bundesliga I could see him doing very well at as well. So it's just for us, it's just whoever offers the most money, if we're being completely honest about it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we got at the end of the day. Speaking of offering a lot of money, one of our players is apparently, again, this is from what I've seen. Do you know much about, again, I've seen his name around, Ekram Konur?
Who?
You might know, I've seen his name a couple of times. I've just seen this again. I think what's his face? I'll try and bring up his comment. I think Lawrence shared it in the comments. Ekram Konur, this guy.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're on about.
Yeah, again, I would know that, but again, apparently Inter Milan have initial offer of 30 million for Charles Soyuncu.
Off you
For
go,
that,
Cags.
yeah, I mean that'll be a nice bit of money for us. I mean
say
that's
that
their
as I got his name on the back
offer.
of my shirt.
Leicester City don't normally take first offers, though, do they?
No, but I think when you pay that, it'll be off you go before you got time to change your mind.
Yeah, ciao belle. I think they say, yeah, in Italy, just like pack your bags, mate, you're off. And then the reason why is because it's just, again, he's another one. It would work, just not in the Premier League. I think if he goes to Inter Milan, I think he could do really good business.
I think he just needs to change of scenery because when he broke through, he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. And we've seen you can be a quality player in the centre, in the Premier League and as a centre back for us. But that I keep going back to it. That Bournemouth game, before that Bournemouth game, he was brilliant. After that Bournemouth game, he's never quite looked the same and his confidence has always seemed shot. So I just think a change of scenery will do him a world of good.
I think you're right, and also I think it was we had two of the Turkish fans on LCFC Turkey on the show, and they go, he's not looked the same. There was a lot of pressure on him after for the Euros because Turkey were dark horses because their defense was really solid, and Soyuncu was leading that back line with Demirol. That back duo was supposed to be a really strong back duo, and it just didn't work, and they ended up just sorry.
It's a complete car crash of a tournament for them. Because
yeah,
they had like Sunga Under, who everyone was like hyping up as well in that team. Who else? They had loads of like really talented, like loads of talented like hipsters players, but everyone's sort of like, oh, he'll do really
from
well.
FIFA.
Yeah. It was an absolute car crash.
Yeah, it's very, and since that he hasn't recovered. He created a half partnership with Daniel Amate, but both of them really struggled. Let's be honest. Daniel tried to do the basics well, but Soyuncu's just confidence just looks so. He just didn't. Without Johnny Evans alongside him, he just didn't look like he knew what he was doing.
No, and we're sort of. This is going to sound horrible, but if you want to be a centre back at a top 10 Premier League club, you can't be reliant at the age of 26 on having someone hold your hand for a game.
Yeah, as we've seen with somebody like a Wesley Fofana, for example, for the FA Cup final, he led the line so great, considering we had Soyuncu one side and Timothy Castagna, who's not a centre back, who's not that great. If you think about his qualities, it's not defensively, it's going forward, it's the engine, it's the crossing of the ball, it's the consistent work rate. It's not that defensive position. But the amount of times I've seen Fofana lead that back line has been insane. I think there was one time where we had do you remember we played when we started this channel, we played Leeds in the pandemic, and the back three was Fofana in the middle, Justin to the right, and Christian Fuchs to the left.
And then we have like Mark Albright right wing back, and then Luke Thomas left wing back.
An unbelievable back five. Like that is just holding. That's dental string holding that together. And I think we only conceded one goal. But I came out and I had a 30, not rant. I had the opposite of a rant, just exploding with delight. The fact that we've had 4 goals from this back line. Dennis Pratt was another brilliant player, and apparently there's links to him as well. But yeah, again, Ethan's putting there. Yeah, it was again just to bring you back, Ethan. I know you're having a bit of a paddy earlier, but hopefully that's made you a little bit better as well. Because yeah, that was a great match. Remember, it was all in lockdown as well. But there's just a few players I think we've gone through. Dennis Pratt would be one that would leave. I'm just hoping that if Tielemans does leave, A, we get a decent fee, and B, we go get Kokcu in, because it just seems like that position is ready to go as well. And so that's for me, the centre back would be, I don't know if my internet's cutting out at the moment, but I'm going to keep going.
It's all right, mate.
I think my visuals might be going because I'm getting the low internet sign, and then potentially on that right hand side, getting somebody in as well. But we will have to see. Again, they're just in Evian at the moment. They're doing some training. They're going to play against Leuven. I think with what with the team we've got at the moment, it is a decent team. We will be moving slightly backwards because A, we've lost Lookman, because again, it looks like if we don't get any more signings, we won't be able to sign him. And B, we've got Jakubovic losing, and seeing that the other teams around us, the top six, pull away because they've all signed great players and they're looking like strengthening. I just don't want us to fall behind. And it's so frustrating, Ant, because we're nearly there. It feels like we are close. It just needs to be that one or two. We're close and everything's near there. We're just frustratingly, the gap is getting bigger, and we've just took a gamble and it's not worked.
No, and I saw a tweet earlier that I think is going to be painfully accurate. We've walked so West Ham can run in terms of breaking up that top six.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just, but bearing in mind, again, looking at play, like West Ham's one of them. They've not really, I mean, they've linked to a few players, but they've not done as much business as we thought. The one that I think that a lot of people are looking at, won't even say dark horses, but one for the future is Newcastle. The way they ended last season was strong. And the way the players they've signed, Sven Botman, Nick Pope, that they are two quality signings. And I think they're going to be, and they've got no Europe as well this season. With Eddie Helmut, now he's got his magic in, they are looking like a scary threat.
They look like a good team, but they're one at the same time. We've seen this countless times with Leicester, where we've, from Christmas to the end of the season, when the pressure's off slightly, we've finished seasons really strong, where in terms of form, we've been like top 4, top 3 in terms of the league. This was even under Claude Puel. Sustaining that for a whole season is a complete different challenge. That's where I'm interested to see. If they lose one game, then they lose 2. Sort of, does Eddie Howe have the cojones, as Troy Deeney would say, to pull them back through like a difficult period? Because so far it's very much been that honeymoon period of a manager. Like, is when the going gets tough, I want to see what he's about.
Yeah, no, definitely agree there. Again, everyone hyping Villa. I think they did some good business at the beginning. I've not really seen anything since that as well. I think Villa are a mid-table club, and that's okay considering they've only come up from the Premier League recently. They can't buy their way into it. It's not gonna happen like that. I think with the only thing that I've got as well, again, just coming up off from the of the comments as well, and I'm hoping, I'm going to be honest, Newcastle, Villa, West Ham, they all do bits against the top 6 clubs. That's what I'm hoping for. Like West Ham last year, when they come against top 6, they take 3 points off, take the 3 points off, take the 3 points off them, and close that gap. I know we shouldn't be relying on that, but I've got a feeling that the competition is strong at the moment.
It's going to be more competitive than it's ever been before, I think. It's a good way to put it in. I think there'll be that top 2 of Liverpool City. Then maybe Tottenham you could add into that mix. And then I think
20-point gap, though, is a lot.
Beyond that point, though, I think it's very much up for grabs for everyone. Oh, and Chelsea as well, maybe. Add Chelsea, I think.
They're signing Koulibaly and
Raheem Sterling.
Yeah.
You know what's even more depressing than us being linked to Bednarek? Imagine your Koulibaly replacement being Bednarek, which is what Napoli are being linked to.
No way.
That's just, imagine that as a Napoli fan.
Yeah, that's depressing. Don't worry, we're going to get, but anyway, that's again, but again, it's the more thing that they're strengthening and there's that gap, and there's again the top 2 that are both strengthened again, and then you've got the rest of them, your Arsenals, your Man Uniteds, your Tottenhams. Then you could kind of throw us in there as well, considering how bad we were last season, and we finished, I think, 6 points behind Man United. The thing is, I'm just hoping that Brendan goes And I think I heard recently that we're the only club without a set piece coach in the Premier League, which again, it just shows Brendan Rodgers' stubbornness once again. Just get it sorted, Brendan. It's not that hard. It's not about the profile of player, as we found out. It is a little bit, but tactics, zonal marking isn't working. And I just don't want to be having the same conversations that we were last year. I think we were saying when was the Arsenal game, the 2-0 that we lost to Arsenal? Was
September last year?
Yeah, September last year. We were saying this.
Was that the same day we met Benjamin Bloom, wasn't it, Arsenal?
It was, yes.
Yeah.
And
about September, because it popped up on my timeline today.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. He again, by the way, lovely guy. Really one of the most genuine guys in Leicester, in Leicester Twitter, in just football in general. Really knows his stuff. Really genuinely nice guy as well. So for that one, anyway, we were saying it then. We were sick to death of set pieces, and it happened again. And I'm hoping it doesn't happen again. But yes, in terms of that, that's all I have to. I think that's pretty much everything at the moment. Is there anything else to add? And because I think everything else has been pretty much talked about.
I think we've just about hit the nail on the head. Undoubtedly, we'll turn the stream off, and then there'll be a new breaking story. But
yeah,
as of right now, I think that's about everything, mate.
Think we're all good to go. But yes, thank you all for watching. Thank you for all the like, subscribe. Hopefully this was again, we're trying to bring this back. Hopefully every Wednesday now. Apart from I think next Wednesday we've got Hull away, haven't we? Are you going to Hull away?
Depends on work.
It's a long way for a Wednesday night.
It is. Like trying to justify with work the fact that to go to a football game, it's like it's a bit of a difficult one to try and justify time off for that one, but we'll see how we get on.
And it's not exactly like it's we're just going to go Nottingham. We're just going to even Burnley or Leeds. You could get away with it. This is 2.5, 3 hours.
It's a trek, isn't it?
Yeah, it's and pre-season as well. Because imagine you go all that way and they put out, we're going to put out Yannick Vestergaard at the back and you're like, I'm going home now. I'll see you later. Yeah, Bednarek. Oh my God. I'm going to switch this off before I start to cry because hopefully we won't have that much this season. Eternal optimist, you know how it is. And like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're live in Ant's channel in about 10 or 15 minutes if you're watching this as well. So make sure to go and follow him over there. I'll link it. There's a link in the description to his channel. Thank you so much. See you later. Goodbye.